who are minority, who have these certain points of view. We don't care about people who are certain professors who are not the Senate or who are that who are not minority. We don't. It doesn't matter to us if they are coming up with this issue. But when there are people who are in minority, who are in the CCW, who are in such positions of power, when they have certain thoughts, strong thoughts, then we need to start thinking that okay, will these come into power? Is it just because they are
coming with that? Ganesh or a warden or a CCW chairman or somebody or a faculty advisor who's in some committee which makes these rules or suggests these rules, expresses a view, you should, that is why they call these consultation meetings and express their view. You express your opposition to it, it will come back. We don't take any decisions or listening to everybody and coming back again. We don't do that. So that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is you will hear all kinds of views. Nobody's hiding, nobody's saying that the view was not expressed. So one minute, he's here, he's not hiding today, he expressed a certain view. He will speak. He expressed a certain view, he will speak. He expressed a certain view. I'm just talking about it from the point of view of the procedure. He expressed a certain view, he's not denying it. What do you want him to do? Oh! If you express a certain view, go ahead and say it. No problem.
First, good evening. Thank you for a massive presence. Now, the specific question is about the declaration. Am I right? And the other proposals. So you're going back to the meeting that we had with all the young ladies in the campus in here. So the gents, please hold on. Okay? One sec. Please understand, you are larger in number and I have to respond as he has been responding patiently. So there are limitations of an individual when addressing a group. Structural limitations are there. So all of you speak, there's no way I can actually respond and make sense. It's not possible. And this is something which I've taught a few of my students. I will face a situation of individual sense and collective nonsense. That's what will happen. Correct? So we'll have this. I will respond. Why did this start? Because when I took charge of this office, among the first few communications that came to me, informally as well as officially, and over these past few months, concerning the safety and security of lady students in this institute. This includes a massive signature campaign by young ladies in Sarayu Extension who have submitted their letter to me saying that they are facing a lot of problems of harassment, assaults in a certain section of the campus. This is the background. The background clear. There have been formal as well as informal communications that come to me. My duty is I have to respond. Now how do I respond? My response is I have to minimize the risk that is undergone by students. Nobody can reduce it to zero. It's not possible. It's not possible under any system anywhere in the world. We want to minimize the risk to our girl students using the resources available as has been said by Professor Ramamurthy correctly. There are certain financial resources, there are people resources of various hues. So we have to use the best mix possible to see to it that security provided to ladies is maximized, risk is minimized. There are many things which have to be done. It includes the security wing of the institute, direct security as well as contracted security, technology, attitudes of students, both male, female, etc., people, and most importantly, the systems that we build, the rules, etc. This is the setting in which we are working. Okay? This is the system, these are the entities in the system. Now comes an important question. How do I mix them? First point is we organize the meeting in order to get suggestions from the lady students. We needed the suggestions from you also, obviously. So what did we talk about? One of the important things is, can we provide self-defense training to our lady students? This was discussed. And from the few emails I have from lady students, few, because obviously we deal with few, the lady student says, it is a good move, we will take up self-defense training. Okay? Second was, can we do something with respect to technology? We had discussed this in the Dean's Committee meeting, and he said they'll have cameras across the campus, not in any specific zone. I hope I'm right on that last. We'll spread cameras across the campus so that serves as a deterrent in whatever way it will.
Yeah, but I'll correct you on that, because these cameras are, apart from the fact that they may not work, there's an issue of connectivity to them. And we decided that it's a very big job, 600 acres is not easy to cover cameras. So we first cover wherever the land already goes comfortably, which means mostly in the departments and corridors only. Putting a camera in some very desolate corner of the campus is very difficult. Power and land. So in fact, I told Professor Koil Pillai, let's first do the parts which are easy to do. That will cover some 80% of the campus. It will give some deterrence. Then we'll come to the difficult. Okay. Reason is, if you call any contractor, the first you take the difficult parts, because that's where the maximum moolah is. Okay, in terms of putting the cabling and so on.
Perfect. Third, we said that, can we provide whistles to the girls' school? I'm talking of what was discussed as an alternative. This is not a policy, okay? By the way, the suggestion of whistles came from the girl students who attended a meeting in my office. It was not my suggestion. It was a suggestion that came from the girl students who came to a meeting in my office. Okay? I hope this is very clear. But it's an alternative. Obviously, in this kind of a decision making,
I already got an offer from a company who saw the newspaper article.
so we'll supply whistles. That's obvious. It's obvious. Okay?
I've made so many videos of the arrest.
All right? Fine. So this you should know the background also. When we are in this kind of a decision-making situation, it is wise to consider all the alternatives. In fact, it's wise to brainstorm. Generate a lot of alternatives, some of which may be downright stupid also. Okay? So I'm not classifying the worth of the alternative. I'm only listing the alternative, nominally. This is the alternative. Okay. Then we talked of pepper sprays. There was suggestion that we can equip girls with pepper sprays. Yeah. Any other thing I'm missing? Can somebody help me? Okay, declaration was not a safety measure. Please, declaration was never meant to be a safety measure. It is a discussion we have had among the wardens and within the hostel management, that there is a limit to which the institute will bear its responsibility towards all campus residents, girls inclusive. We cannot take complete responsibility for the safety and security of all the campus residents. I hope you agree. It's not possible. Okay? Now this is where, what do we do? That there are certain, the 11 o'clock deadline has been existing even before I was a student. Please. This deadline has been there for many, many years. All that the deadline says is that please inform, have information available on your whereabouts as to where you're going. Technology has changed over the years. I agree. We didn't have mobile phones, internet, etc. in those times. We had a single phone in the hostels. So when a parent calls, by the way, somebody asked a question, there is a legal concept of what's known as best friend. It's a legal idea. Whether you like it or not, legally, thou shalt have a best friend. And if you don't declare it, it's your parent. This is a concept which exists in India. Okay? And therefore, you can't say, I'm an adult, and something, you have certain degrees of freedom. Nobody can deny those degrees of freedom. It's not possible. But how do you exert those degrees of freedom is where we are debating now and discussing. Now that was the context in which I had made that statement, and I stand by it. I'm not sorry, because I also have 2 daughters, that it is known that ladies are physically less strong than men. I don't need to, I can prove it if you want. Okay? Please. There was no discrimination there. There was concern, total concern when I said that. By the way, my daughter came close to assault. So that you understand. Please understand the context in which the statement was made. You are more vulnerable to assaults in our kind of a campus, which has been pointed out by our director also, in certain ways. Therefore, we said that in view of the limited capability, whatever the capability we have to take on the risk, we will have a declaration from individuals, including male students, not just ladies. In fact, it was the ladies who pointed out, why not for the males? I said, it is already there for the male students. And thou shalt follow this, my dear male students. Okay? And let me tell you why. Because when we get a phone call, the warden gets a phone call at 1:30. It has happened even recently, 1:30 in the night. I'm trying to contact my boy. He's not lifting the phone. Can you please tell me what is happening? It's the warden who faces the music there. The warden bears certain responsibility there. So that is why we said we will have a declaration signed by every student. By the way, it's still not a rule. Please, it is, if you want to put it, it's a high on the agenda item that we will discuss. It will go through the board of students, which is your representative body. It will go through SAT first. It will then go through the board of students. And after the board of students, it shall go to the Dean's Committee. It's not an academic matter, it won't go to the Senate. Senate discusses academic matters. Part A, students are present. Part B, students are not present. Is the structure clear? So this is where we are now. The declaration simply states that I am aware of the risks that I will be exposed to in this campus under condition A, B, C, D. And I am aware of the consequences of the risk, and I am under certain conditions, which we will say, we are willingly, with free will, with full consciousness and stability of mind, taking the risk. That is all. This is the declaration. It is not a declaration of anything else. I hope this point is clear. Sir? Pardon? Simple, physical. 1 second. Yeah.
I'm just slightly concerned about this idea of collective decision making that we keep talking about in the evening, especially when it comes to the Senate. But when our director is not aware that there are policemen in casual uniforms.
Not policemen, security.
Security.
Our security
It
people.
is a matter of great concern that how come our director himself is not aware of something like this, and it could borderline on something like harassment. How do I know that the person who's coming up to me and asking me about where I'm going, who I am with, why I'm wearing what I'm wearing, is authorized to do so?
I agree. Very good question. Very good question. The reason for having plainclothes security in our campus, and by the way, I cannot answer for Dr. Bhaskar, it is not correct on my part. This idea of plainclothes security man has been there even while I was a student. Wait, one second. Okay, raise your point, I'll respond to that. I'll respond to what is the point. So, now that's the first point. It's a fact that plainclothes, our security, under certain in certain conditions, do go on plainclothes, what you call as rounds in the campus. Now, every system, until evidence is available, works on trust. Okay? I have to get to philosophy here, unfortunately. Okay.
If unfortunately I'm assaulted on the street and there is a plainclothes policeman or a security guard, as you say, unfortunately I won't know who to run for help. Whereas if there is a security guard in his uniform, I would know who to run to. Secondly, there have been cases in the past where random men have walked up to girls and said, "What are you doing here?" And this has happened outside Sharavati, in the departments. No, we don't know who they were. Okay, they said, "Who are you?" policeman, what are you doing here? Show us your ID card. How are you here? And the response that we as girls had was to say, who are you? Show us your ID card. Except we have had where they said, no, I'm new security, I am security, you can't be standing inside your department, leave the place. We didn't have any proof, and it was a stranger who stood there. He was not even a security, and he left the minute like 2 girls asked him for a security, for his ID card. So A, there is a possibility of misuse. B, in case of an assault, a girl does not know who to run to. A girl or a boy, whoever is assaulted, does not know who to run to. So putting someone in mufti is not possibly going to help the situation.
Okay, one second.
Sir, there has been one issue where a plainclothes guy has come into Sharabi Hospital.
He said
I was security. Yeah, he said that he's a security person.
Sir, another point we are talking so much about the risks and all this security guys walking around, but I have 2 concerns. The first one being unmanned entry points, breaches in the wall at Krishna Gate and at the sump area. We don't know what's happening with those. Along with that, Krishna Point and water road, solid water breaches in the wall, which are unmanned. We don't know who's coming in from there, we don't know who's going out. Then recently, at main access points, the man access points to institute the security guards are taking down names of people who enter after 11 o'clock. But then there is also this concern about people just zooming past the light. You can visit institute once or twice to know that okay, not everyone is questioned by the security. You can just zoom in, zoom out. A lot of corruption happening. What is happening to these 2 issues? Because a lot of people gain access into the campus because of these 2.
I can answer. So I'll tell you that the breaches in the wall, I already mentioned this. All attempts by us to close all the breaches securely have not. Sir, we can't hear you. Yeah, I said attempts by us to close all the breaches in the walls, particularly on the Karnagam side, have not succeeded. Okay. There are people who break the wall again, and there are people who put up mounds of mud not to climb over the wall, and these people, as I said, will go to the extent of beating up our security. Okay, these are people who control the environment on the other side of the wall. I mean, you are also living in this country. I am not telling you anything that's new. Okay, there is only so much we can do. We complain to the police. They say yes, we will tell them. They also cannot do much. Okay, this is the reality. I mean, you know it, maybe you don't know it, maybe where you live from, these things don't happen, but I tell you it happens all over the country. Okay, we manage it by making sure that we keep it under control. We tell the police also, make sure they don't come in too much, make sure they don't do these things, make sure they don't bring alcohol in here, make sure they don't bring do unsavory activities. The police also convey the thing. The police have their own way of controlling them up to a point, because they all have patronage. They tell them, go this, if you go beyond this, we won't tolerate it. And that's how it works. If you expect that this wall will be made 100% secure, that nobody will be able to come in from those breaches, it's not going to happen. Because these are people who actually feel that somewhere their rights have been taken away. Okay, in this part of the world. Regarding the other question about the gates, so everybody, this is an institution in which people are employed, they're all in the government service. There are some people who do their job well, there are some people who don't do their job well. What I have found in these, I also know how you can come through, how you can get through. I know what goes on, in the gates. All I know is that, by and large, when things have got very serious, where we needed to know, where there was a very serious breach of the law, we found that yes, between them somehow they know. They are able to figure out who came in. Where somebody, if not the first guy, the second guy has seen something, or the outgate has seen something, they are able to track down. Between them and the police, they are always able to track down. But petty stuff, let me tell you, in 91, when we put in our first telephone exchange, because I am in the telephoning area, we were involved, it was Junwala and I, a whole big, this size, drum of cable, not chota mota, got stolen. How is it possible, you tell me? Disappeared from campus. You can only go in a truck. Okay, it disappeared. It actually disappeared from campus. So these things all happen. Okay, there's only so much. Sandalwood trees have been cut and taken out of campus. Okay, I know that they are thrown over. Things are thrown over the Rajbhavan wall and collected on the other side. There are pictures of that also. So these are all. And nobody is saying that many of these things don't happen. We do the best we can with the resources we have. We keep trying to tighten up. It is the only known way in India today of ensuring very tight security at the entry is to hand over to the CISF. That is works. CISF is still almost a paramilitary organization. It is a paramilitary organization, right? It works. But if we hand over to CISF says they will not come in without arms. We have discussed this. Not me, not as a director, as a dean. CISF says, sir, we will not come in without arms, and secondly, if you hand it over to us, we will not report to you. I will report to my commandant. You follow what I am saying? You know CISF guys, the guys in the police station, in the airport. You see the airport, the guy never reports to the airport authority. So he says, I will not report to you, I will report to my commandant, and I will come with arms. I will ensure nothing gets through your place. Okay, that is not permitted. No problem. But we decided not to have it.
So,
Okay, let me finish. So I have to answer the question, right? So it will be somewhat porous at the gate. We'll keep tightening up, it will keep loosening. That is the best we can get given the kind of people we have and the kind of people we are and everything. I don't want to blame others alone. This is our system. Okay, I don't want to present to you as if all of this can be tightened up and we can have this wonderful, I don't know what type, army type or some other country type of security. Okay, walls also, the reality is, and this is the social reality, this is the maximum that can be done. There are people who come into work, domestic help and so on, who come over that wall. They need those mounts. Their husbands and brothers and children will make those mounts for them. They will not walk 2.5 kilometers around. All of this is the reality. Okay, so the wall on Kanagam side, the lake side will be somewhat porous. Our gates, we keep trying to tighten up. We put cameras, they turn it off. All of these things go on. Okay, we will try to tighten up further. We introduce computerized system. We'll do all this. We'll keep improving. But it is with the systems we have that we work. Okay, that is to answer the question. Now I don't know. I actually got digressed from what you're doing.
So I want to ask a basic question. You say that there is nothing much you can do about this.
Not nothing much. We keep doing something. There's always a limit.
Okay, so but
We don't sit back and say nothing.
I want to point out another issue, not an issue but another fact that there is a, you know that now you have to go through that new way to go to Krishna Gate if you are coming from
That's
JC.
because the construction.
Yeah, okay sir. So there is a shortcut through Kaveri that just cuts through Kaveri which makes the way much shorter. No student, especially a female student, none of them is allowed to walk through that place or take that shorter route. But then local people can come in through those security labs areas. They can climb over the walls. It's okay because we should sympathize with them. But what about us? What if,
I'm not saying I'm just saying, please understand that
isn't that a contradiction, sir? That's just what I want to point out.
saying that there's only so much we can guarantee regarding the security of the perimeter. Okay, that's it. Now if you say there's something that's been done and you've been told not to go in one way and you want to go in that way, we can look at that. And all I'm saying, all of these are, if you tell me it's your job to guarantee my perimeter, I'm telling you I cannot do it. Okay, I've looked at it enough times as a dean. I've looked at my colleagues have looked at it as chairman engineering unit. We have built walls, compound walls, rebuilt compound walls. I can tell you we spent about 10 crores on compound walls now. Okay.
One question. Why the starting revelation? Right of all this bad public newspaper or ID Madras, why does an article like this come into paper? Why don't you make a press release saying that political cloud outside institute is damaging the social security? What can help for
No, that's not, by the way. All these points are not. No. What are those people doing? Some of them are jumping in, some of them is stealing a laptop here, a cell phone there. This is not what the press is now discussing. Don't put all the blame of our life on them. They are not doing it. Okay. They will be doing a few things that are wrong. Yes, people shouldn't jump over walls, but that's not the biggest existential threat we face.
So, from what I understand, the problem is political.
No, I'm saying that they have their own cloud. Outside IIT, there's a different set of rules that are in place. There's a different set of authorities who are deciding these things. In fact, it's almost like a one level, we maintain, because of our good relations, we maintain good relations with police and the electricity board and water supply. We are governed by the center. The state government sort of has its own view. The city corporation has its own view on the matter. They will respond first to those people, to their councillors. We keep making sure that we are also looked after. It's all I'm trying to point out is, we can't go with the danda. That's all I'm saying. Danda won't work. You have to understand the issue. You have to try to talk to them, try to get compliance. But going with the danda and whipping them all, saying get out of our way, that's not good. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, we can. Somebody only like this, right?
So, please.
Ganesh, back to the...
Somebody was asking and I think it got lifted. Yeah. Before I start, as Nitish has told me also, there is no 11 p.m. curfew. Clear? There is a, one second, there is a 11 p.m. timeline. It's not a curfew. The timeline only applies to the curfew, means you can't get out. Whatever, don't worry. I also, anyway, we also have to review the hostel rules and regulations. There is lots of work to be done. We have the summer vacation ahead of us and many things to be done. Okay? And I'll be too happy to have communications from you, and I will respond to you individually, whatever I can. Even if there are 40 mails, I'll burn the midnight oil and I'll respond to you. Okay? This I can promise. Now, one second. There is the timeline only says that beyond this time, the student must be fair enough to the institute and give information on whereabouts. Because we are answerable to your best friend. We are answerable. And we are called. That is the point. We are called. You can't say, you cannot be called. You may be a PhD scholar. In fact, I've had situations where a 42-year-old PhD scholar's wife called and said, I'm not able to reach my husband. Now I have to respond. I can't say, I'm sorry, as he said earlier. He's an adult, he's doing something. I can't say that. In fact, I don't want to say that. Because that's an administration which is insensitive. We must build an atmosphere where an administration is sensitive to these people, is warm to these people, and at least shows that warmth clearly. That is why I'm saying, please give us the information where you are going. Similarly, I'm reiterating this point. First year boy vanishes for 3 days.
That really gives a fright.
It is, I mean, where do we go? The father says, I admitted in your institute, he's coming and crying. Within 2 weeks, what are you doing with my boy? Please understand these situations. All we are asking is information. Point number one. Point number two, all we are asking is, you are adults, state as adults that you are aware of the risk. That's all I'm asking. State it. You are an adult, no, state it. I am aware of the risk. This is the condition. Yes.
Throughout this discussion, we have been stating that let's not voice our personal opinions. But our whole contention tonight is because certain people are imposing their personal opinions upon a large which obviously I am not competent to talk about, and you are completely competent to talk about, or somebody, the CSO is. Simple things are actually agitating us. It is not the big things. Even maybe the 11 o'clock curfew might not be a big issue if I am taking something in return. But there is Kaveri hostel. Every hostel warden has some personal views which is being imposed on the students. Is it being imposed after a democratic